Hi folks, love you all, good to be with you. Don't forget my website, jasonburnspreacher.com. Get me on Facebook, lots of Bible teaching there. Twitter, you've got apologetic material, so type in Jason Burns. Twitter, Preacher, Twitter, you get me there. It's good to be with you. Just a quick video. Just please pray for Royal Blood Ministries 1 minute a day. 1 minute a day. Your prayers are powerfully being answered, so please pray for 1 minute a day for Royal Blood Ministries. I just want to share with you some resources. I've just been listening to this lecture series on the Doctrine of God, so I'll show you. It's on my computer. So it's you can go. It's on www.monergism.doctrinegod 24-part series. www.monergism.com Doctrine of God. But it's the Doctrine of God 24-part series, MP3 series, by Reverend Dr. K. Scott Oliphant. The following lectures are at Westminster Theological Seminary. Reverend Dr. K. Scott Oliphant are in MP format. To download, right-click and save. So here it is, a 24-part series on the Doctrine of God. I've listened to one lecture. I'm really enjoying it. So I'd encourage you to get hold of this course, and it will really bless you. It's a really good course. So now I'm going to just share with you some resources on the Doctrine of God. So first of all, this resource is by J.I. Packer, Knowing God. J.I. Packer, Knowing God. It's a real classic. I'll read a little bit. He says this about the book, why he's written the book. Trend 1 is the Christian minds are being conformed to the modern spirit. The spirit, that is, that spawns great thoughts of man, leaves room for only small thoughts of God. The modern way with God is to set him at a distance, if not to deny him altogether. And the irony is that modern Christians, preoccupied with maintaining religious practice in an irreligious world, have themselves allowed God to become remote. Clear-sighted persons seeing this are tempted to withdraw from the churches in something like disgust to pursue a quest for God on their own. Nor can one wholly blame them, for churchmen who look at God, so to speak, through the wrong end of the telescope, so reducing him to pygmy proportions, cannot hope to end up as more than pygmy Christians. So it's a really, really good book. It's a classic. Get a hold of that book. If you want something meaty to grow in your Christian life, and it's meaty, this is the book to get hold of. J.I. Packer, Knowing God. Really, really good. And then, this is a new book that's just come out. I've only started reading it, but it seems a really helpful book. It's The Incomparable Explorations in the Character of God. Incomparable Explorations in the Character of God, Andrew Wilson. Okay. And Andrew Wilson, and he looks at the doctrine of God in this book, and it looks a really good kind of devotional book. Explorations in the Character of God, The Incomparable by Andrew Wilson, published by David C. Cook Publishers. Okay, so that's a really, really interesting book. It's got a lot to say. It quotes some good writers in there, so it seems to be a good book. I haven't read it all, so it gets my 80% recommendation. He gets 100% recommendation. He gets 80%. But I think you'll enjoy this book, and it'll be a blessing to you. So I'm going to be reading that today. The Westminster Confession, chapter 2 of the Westminster Confession, we read, "There is but one only living and true God, who is infinite in being and perfection, a most pure, Spirit, invisible, without body, parts or passions, immutable, immense, eternal, incomprehensible, almighty, most wise, most holy, most free, most absolute, working all things according to the counsel of his own immutable and most righteous will, for his own glory, most loving, gracious, merciful, long-suffering, abundant in goodness and truth, forgiving iniquity, transgression, sin, the rewarder of them that diligently seek him, and withal most just and terrible in his judgments, hating all sin, and who will by no means clear the guilty. Wow, and it goes on and on and on, and it gives you all the scripture references. You will never get a better definition of God than that. The Westminster Confession is a good place to study the doctrine of God. If you get the Westminster Confession with the scripture references, that's really helpful. Or get the commentary either by A. Hodge or Shaw on the Westminster Confession will also be a blessing to you as well. Some meaty books to read when you've read J.I. Packer is The Doctrine of God by Herman Bavinck, published by the Banner of Truth. The Doctrine of God, written by Herman Bavinck, published by Banner of Truth. This is more weighty theological work, but it's really a blessing. That's Herman Bavinck there. So that's a good book if you want to get more into studying the doctrine of God. It's a very good spiritual book, actually, so that as well. And then if you want to go deeper into the doctrine of God, the 2 volumes of the Puritan, The Existence and Attributes of God by Charnock. So if you want to get deeper and deeper into God, get hold of these 2 volumes. This is the volume 1, I have volume 2 over there. And it's The Existence and Attributes of God by Charnock. So those are some books that you can be reading on the doctrine of God. And I hope that's a blessing to you. God bless you, and love to all of you out there. God bless you and take care. Please pray for Royal Blood Ministries 1 minute a day. God bless you.